I get asked this question all the time. Hey, Mike, am I supposed to be making quarterly tax payments? Well, let's talk about it. So first things first, the IRS, they want their money and they want it now.
It's my money and I need it now.
So the idea is we got to understand, when are we responsible for paying it? Because guess what? The IRS isn't going to reach out and tell us all the time. So the way the IRS looks at it is, as you earn money, you should be paying taxes on that money. The IRS actually doesn't want you to wait towards the end of the year to make the payment. They want you to pay as you earn it. Now, one of the underlying questions is, well, how am I supposed to know how much I need to pay as I'm earning it, right? Especially when you own your own business, because we have all these other deductions. Well, guess what? The IRS doesn't care. So the quarterly payments are really for those individuals who are earning income that are not being regularly taxed throughout the year. So an example is a W-2 paycheck, somebody who's getting a paycheck every month or every week, that's already being taxed by Uncle Sam. So I get paid $1,000 a week. Well, when that check comes in, Uncle Sam's already taken $400. Right? So that type of money, you're not having to pay quarterly estimated payments because you're making consistent payments. Now, for small business owners, as we go out there and earn our money, we're not paying taxes on it. So the IRS wants us to pay quarterly taxes throughout the year. Now, the question is, well, how much? All right, so here's a rule. In order to avoid penalty, the IRS says we have to do one of two things. Either we pay 100% of the taxes that we owed last year in 4 quarterly payments throughout the year, or we pay 90% of what we're going to owe in the current calendar year. So the IRS basically says this, yeah, if you're earning money and you're not paying us, then we want to see our quarterly payments, okay? Now, if we do not make our quarterly payments, then by the end of the tax season, when we actually do file, you're going to see a section on your tax form, on your 1040, that says, is there a penalty for not making estimated payments? Or if you pay 90% of the current year's taxes, then you don't owe anything, right? So again, say now in 2025, as you're making money, and you're paying up as much as you can, right? Or as much as you think you need to. And as long as you pay 90% of that, then you won't get a penalty. So what's the best practice for this? Well, what you'll end up seeing is oftentimes with a good tax preparer, at the end of the year, whenever you pay whatever your tax obligation is, then they're going to say, hey, look, let's take that number, let's divide it into 4, right? 1 per quarter. And now let's make sure that you have the vouchers, or to go and make the payments once a quarter. And you're just going to do those amounts, right? That's the best practice. Figure out what you paid last year, divide that into 4, and make those into quarterly payments throughout the year. Now, at the end of the year, let's say you overpaid, right? Or maybe you paid too much. Well, look, you avoided the penalty, and guess what? You can get it as a refund. Now, there are some individuals who have the tax system really played out and mapped out very well for them in their current situation. So they'll make those quarterly estimated payments. If they happen to get an overpayment or a refund, they'll simply just apply it to next year's, and they'll just keep that bad boy rolling. This way, they're not caught at the end of the year with this large tax bill that they're not prepared for. Because nothing's worse than getting hit with a $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 tax bill at the end of the year. And, just maybe you got the cash and you didn't want to lay it out, or maybe you don't have the cash. Now we got to get creative on how do we make this payment to Uncle Sam. So if this situation fits you, if you are a business owner or you have earned income that you don't pay taxes on, 1099 income, right? Things of that nature, then it might be in your best interest to make quarterly payments. But before you go out there and actually make those quarterly payments, I do recommend that you speak with your tax advisor, because there might be some other strategy at play where, for example, it might be more useful for you to put that money somewhere else than have to worry about the quarterly tax payments. All right. That's a case-by-case scenario, so I do recommend that you speak to your tax advisor. But if you're just tired of getting hit with that big hefty bill at the end of the year, and you want to know why you keep getting penalized and having to pay this extra little penalty, well, it's probably because you're not making those quarterly estimated payments that the IRS wants you to make. Well, if you found this content helpful, please let us know by putting something in the comments, giving it a like, and subscribe to the channel so you can get more of it. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.